Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil kareem amma ba'd. Fa'auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Ameen ya rabbil alameen. Okay, we starting class again after 2 weeks because there was a holiday of Yom Ashur. And let's just quickly recap what we talked about 2 weeks back. We had just begun Surah Ankabut, and the surah started with the Haruf Muqatta'at. And the second verse, Allah asked that do people think that they will be left alone just by saying that they believe in Allah and that they're not going to be tested? So if you believe in Allah and you have that desire to work for Allah and please Allah, then you will be tested. Why will you be tested? So that your sincerity can be judged. And then in the third verse it was mentioned that many people before at that day, the present day Musliman in Makkah and the present day Muslims today, we should all know that every single nation before us were tested. Every generation before them was tested. Why? To check who is truthful, who has proved to be truthful towards their words that I believe in Allah and I am sincere, and those who just are providing lip service. And then the fourth verse talked about do people think that those people who the evildoers, do they think that they have outrun Allah? And Allah is saying how bad is their judgment and how bad do they, their thought processes. And then the fifth verse was about that those who desire to meet Allah, and naturally those only desire to meet Allah who love Allah in this world and want to work sincerely for Him, their ultimate success would be to see Allah in the Akhirat. Then Allah says then that time is coming. And then it is mentioned in verse number 6 that if you're doing jihad, if you are struggling, then you're struggling for your own self, because Allah is ghani, free of any need from the world. In other words, whether you do it or not, if you are doing jihad, trying to be on the right path, that is for your own self. And those people who believe and then they perform good deeds, Allah will remove their evil deeds and Allah will reward them even better than what they did. And then what was saying al-insana biwalidayhi, that Allah has advised insan to be good to his parents, but if they cause you to perform shirk, that is the only time that you will not listen to them. You won't be rude to them, you won't scold them, but you will not obey this order of theirs. And then, because in the end, Allah is the one everybody's going to turn to. If they are doing shirk, they're going to return to Allah, and if you have to disobey them, then you're also going to be turned to Allah, and Allah will tell them what was right and wrong. And then the last verse that we studied was وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, and those people Amanu, they believed, wa amilu, and they did as-salihat, amal salih, in other words, good deeds. لَنُدْخِلَنَّهُمْ, surely we will indeed make them enter fi, among salihin. Now this verse came, because it was the last verse and we went quickly through it, let me just recap it. This verse came straight after the opposition, if your parents are forcing you to perform shirk. And as I mentioned in previous class, that Mus'ab bin Umair and Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, they faced these type of emotional persecution and opposition where their mothers went against them. But then Allah is consoling them that if those people believe and they do amal salih, then Allah will indeed, no doubt, make them enter into the people who are salihin, in other words, those who are righteous, the prophets, the martyrs, and everybody who's have sacrificed their lives for the sake of Islam. Okay, so in order to believe, what do we need? We need firm belief, we need amal salih, we need to have clarity in our duty to Allah. We must know them, we must be clear about what is right and what is wrong, right? Yes, we we are supposed to be dutiful towards our parents and to some other, family members too. But then remember, never ever sacrifice your rights that you have to give to Allah just to satisfy your family members. And then if you are facing opposition from your parents, from your siblings, your spouse, your friends, then remember you have to stay steadfast and always remember this time period, this suffering, it will pass. And during this opposition phase, don't pity yourself. Don't feel, pity for your own self. Don't say, why is this happening to me? Just remember, it happened to every single prophet that has ever passed. Trials and tests coming from your own loved ones. Remember Hazrat Ibrahim, his father was the one to light the fire. The father was the one to throw Ibrahim in the fire. So Nuh alayhi salam's son was disobedient, and Nuh saw him drown right in front of his eyes. Lut alayhi salam, his wife, had a soft heart for her nation, of the nation of Lut. So don't pity yourself. It has happened to everybody. Fitna, trial will always come in your life, and it will pass. And one thing, every trauma or every difficulty I've gone through my life, it has, reformed me and perfected me even more. I mean, I get groomed during the most difficult time of my life. And those who experience it too, will realize that the most difficult time in your life, no matter how difficult it is, it grooms a person. But one thing that you have to remember is that you're not supposed to quit the first day. You can't say, suppose I'm attending class, I'm listening to the class, it's been 2 to 3 weeks now, and now like my mom's getting angry with me, everything's going wrong, I'm failing in my school tests, because I go to the Quran class and I waste 1 hour. Don't think like that. You're not supposed to, don't back out right in the beginning. Try to manage things, because Satan will try and come on your path. He will try his level best to try and divert you from, listening to the Quran class or attending the Quran class, but don't pay heed to what he does. Okay, so the next verse number 10, Wamin, and among, Annas, the people, Man, is who, Yaqulu, he says, Amanna, we believed, Billahi, in Allah, Fa'idha, then when, Udhiya, he was hurt or is hurt, in the cause Allahi of Allah, Ja'ala, he makes fitna, trial, Annas, of the people, Ka'adabi, like punishment, Allahi, of Allah. We're on verse number 10. I was just recapping what we were doing yesterday. Acha, Wamin, and among, Annas, the people. Page is 143. 143 and verse number 10. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ, and from amongst the people, there are some people, man, who, yaqulu, he says, amanna, we believe. Now, even in the time of Makkah, there are many people who used to say that they believe. Even today, there are many people who say that we believe in Allah, but what happens? Amanna billahi, fa'idha, then when, udhiya, he is hurt, fillahi, in the cause of Allah. In other words, hurt in the sense of being tested. Whenever a test is inflicted upon him, when any hardship comes upon him, ja'ala, he makes fitnatan nas, fitna, the trial of the people, ka'adabi, like punishment, Allahi, of Allah. Now every time, remember it's a Makki surah, and the previous verse was about, the 2 verses back was about, if your parents, oppose you, be good to your parents, but if they oppose you in your religion, they ask you to do shirk, then don't obey, right? Now at that time, Musab bin Umair and Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas are the most famous names whose mothers went against them just because they accepted Islam. And there's multiple people during that time who were suffering opposition and persecution. They went through a lot. Bilal, he was, do you know Bilal was the son of of Abyssinian princess?
Yes.
It was because he, at the time when Abraha attacked Makkah, at the time that he was taken as prisoner of war, and that's how he became a slave. Could you see the test? Imagine being the son of an Abyssinian princess. And then all of a sudden, just because Abraha came to attack and then he was unsuccessful, so Bilal was, as a kid, was taken as a prisoner of war, and he was the slave of Umayyah bin Khalf. And Umayyah bin Khalf loved him. He loved him like his own child, because when you spend some time with a kid and then that kid grows up with you, it's naturally you have affiliation. It doesn't have to be your direct son to be affiliated with the child. And so he was his best. And when Bilal turned away, from the idol worship, and he chose to accept Islam, Umayyah bin Khalf tried his level best to persecute him in the most weirdest ways, in the most evil ways, so that he had come back. Many other people also accepted Islam. But why Bilal? Because Bilal was special to him. He didn't want Bilal to, turn away from him. But there are some people that when fitna comes from people meaning it could be your parents, it could be your husband, it could be your cousins, it could be your friends, it could be your children. And what do people think? People think that this is azab from Allah. Even people who believe. Now, why do they think that? Allah is saying there are some people who say that they believe, but when they are hurt in the way of Allah, in the path of Allah, they make that fitna of the people, the persecution that the people are doing upon them, as azab from Allah. Do you think it should be considered as an azab from Allah?
I think it's a testing something. It's a test.
It's a test, naturally. It's a test.
It's not azab to astaghfirullah. Azab to Allah का बड़ा खौफनाक होता है. जिन हमने पीछे जिन nations के ऊपर अजाब आता है, word अजाब, तो बहुत खौफनाक. They were totally eliminated. ये तो एक ongoing test है. I think that is also part of the test कि हम अपनी ज़िंदगी में we are all going through tests.
Naturally. And especially when you, like as you said, as soon as you entered, I've been away from the class. That was also a test.
Yes, it was.
And sometimes, you really want to go, but something comes in your way that you can't just stay away from. I'll give you an example. Like my mother-in-law was admitted in ITC on the Sunday morning. She was poorly since Wednesday. And she inhaled her vomit, in fact, when she was vomiting, and she got really critical. Now, she's still, we brought her back the day before yesterday. Now, for me, imagine, my mother-in-law is ill, I'm the only daughter-in-law. For me, that is very important that I am supposed to look after her. I mean, she's my responsibility. And then I had this responsibility of the class also.
Yes.
So, half of my heart was saying, should I cancel it? Should I do it? And then this also came to my mind because this is the first time I put my class on my YouTube channel in previous weeks. That also came to me. It's so natural that something, I put it on my YouTube channel, 22 people have heard it. Have I done something wrong? Did I do something wrong? Should I have done that or not? It's regular people who these things do come to your mind.
We have so much turmoil already going inside us. कि हम उसको अजाब समझ लेते हैं. मैं खुद we are also part of it.
It's so common to think that, okay, but then the thing that brings you closer to Allah, as I was telling them in the last class, that the person who objected to my class the most was my husband. And today he asked me by himself, don't you have class today? And I said, yeah, I do have class in half an hour. He goes, what? Doesn't look like it. I go, no, I'm prepared. I got up early in the morning and prepared for the class. So I had to manage my way. And whereas I remember in the 10 years that when I tried to, I used to, when I had to prepare my class, I used to have to do it when nobody was there. Hide and prepare for my class. Do it before Islam gets home. Do it before the kids get home, so that they don't get disturbed or they don't say anything negative about me preparing for the class. And now, after so many years of struggling, that was a fitna.
It is
a fitna from.
So many fitnas, you're always around.
But imagine if I left that class, if I stopped, I go, I can't do it. My husband always comments negatively. But now he's the same person who asks, don't you have class today? And I say, yeah, I do have class. I'm going. I've done.
The ways of God are really subtle.
Subtle.
And slow.
Slow and
this,
subtle.
I think this is.
It's your grooming period, basically.
Yes. मैं अभी अपनी बेटी से ही बात कर रही थी. लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि शायद मुझे maturity अब आनी चाहिए. I've started looking at things from
different angles. That does happen.
जो कि मेरे साथ पहले नहीं था.
There comes a time in life.
There's always, and it comes slowly and subtly आपकी life में आता है. इसी तरह जो ways हैं हम अल्लाह से चाहते हैं कि उसी वक्त सब कुछ हो जाए. But
ऐसा नहीं होता,
ऐसा नहीं
ऐसा नहीं
होता,
होता,
ऐसा
ऐसा नहीं
नहीं
होता.
होता.
There's I remember when the 2005 earthquake came. I only had 2 sons at that time, and my whole house fell down. Right, in Muzaffarabad. We were in Muzaffarabad, and at that time I was studying the Quran at home. I had got to the 17th para, and would you imagine? Family members, because when you start studying the Quran, you start studying Hadith, then you realize that some things that are happening in our culture are not a part of Islam.
Yes.
But then if you object to it, then people don't like it. So they would, people of your own family start commenting that, oh, you see, she changed her ways. So see what's happened? So you see what happened? I mean, this is a calamity that has struck everybody. But then you would see people, attacking you just because this is azab from Allah for you. And I would think I learned such a lot. Every downfall in my life, I've learned such a lot.
I think the downfalls होते हैं वही आपको, they make you think and reflect. जिंदगी में वही आपकी चीजें होती हैं. हम तो समझते हैं सिर्फ ups and successes हमें वो तो बड़ी आपके लिए blinding होती है.
I'll give you an example of my son. After his FSC, he wanted to go to the northern areas with his friend, and I say no, I can't. You can't go. कुछ हो जाएगा तुम्हें, right? So then the rest of his friends went, and I didn't let him go. Would you believe? मेरी गोद में, like afterwards, at that time you don't realize he was in pain, and then the second day, in fact, his appendix had burst, and his operation went on for like 2 to 3 hours because it had burst all over the stomach, and then from the recovery room he went straight to the ITC because his lungs had collapsed. And he, like, subak operation, and he regained consciousness in the evening at 6 p.m. And at that time when I was watching and I was thinking, I said, don't go there, tumhe kuch ho jayega. Meri god mein kuch ho gaya, I couldn't do anything.
Yes.
So like this, that was a wake up call for me, that you've got nothing in your control.
Yes, nothing. ये जो चीज़ है ना कि there's nothing in my control.
This reality check.
आपको reality check होती है.
It's a reality check that has to be very clear.
Yes. हमारे हाथ में कुछ नहीं. We are so helpless.
So the fitna that we get from people, if we consider that as azab and back off that, just because, okay, hijab, people are opposing your hijab, you're putting on your dupatta, they'll call you Ninja Turtle, they say it's only going to last for a little while. And then, the struggle that you have to do. Imagine the fitra coming from the people considering, I must be doing something wrong. That's why everybody's against me. Okay, I'll take it off. I've seen many girls do this.
मेरी प्रिंसिपल ने मुझे उस दिन बुला के कहा, आयशा तुम्हारी तस्वीर मैंने देखी है, मेरी पहली की तस्वीर. वो किसकी तस्वीर? मैं क्या मेरी? अपना क्या हाल
बना दिया.
अपना दुपट्टा देखो.
And they don't realize that this hal is what I love more than that hal.
तुमने आयशा अपना क्या हाल बनाया? अपनी हालत देखो.
Perfectly fine.
I came under है. मुझे कहती है मैं दुपट्टा लो, सेट करो उसको प्रॉपर्ली, ये सब कुछ करो. तुम्हें कोई मना तो नहीं करना, लेकिन अपनी हालत तो देखो.
Everybody thinks that you're downtrodden if you put on the dupatta. Goodness,
आज तो क्या हो गया? मैं तो तुम्हारी तस्वीर देख के हाल में क्या हो गया मुझे?
नहीं कुछ भी नहीं हुआ, बिल्कुल ठीक है. Wala in, and surely if ja'a, it comes, nasrun, help, min, from Rabbika, your Rabb, la yaqulunna, surely they will indeed say, inna, indeed we were ma'akum, with you all. In other words, any trial come, they say, it's azab from Allah. You're doing something wrong because you have rejected the idols. That's why Maya bil Khalf is giving you so much azab. That's why your mother's gone against you. You must be doing something wrong. But if something good comes, if they were blessed with something, then they would say, no, we are also with you. We also agree with you. And even today, if you're going good, if things are going good, they'll say fine. People's judgment about success in life is different from how Allah's judgment of success in life.
दुनिया में हमारी चीजें हो रही हैं, totally different what is happening inside us. जो अल्लाह के साथ रिश्ता वो मुख्तलिफ है, और जो आपका इंसानों के लिए सक्सेस और वो
criteria different है ना?
Criteria
criteria is totally different.
They're two different things.
Awalaysa is he was not and is not Allahu Allah bi'a'lama truly most knowledgeable bima of what fi is in suduri chest al-alamin of the worlds. Now this is very important at this place. Now some people say because my husband does not like it, that's why I took off the hijab. You will see people doing that.
My principal gave me the same example. कि मेरी देवरानी जो है उसने पहले हिजाब लिया है उसने उतार के because her husband is
I have heard many women say that since I've started wearing the hijab, my husband starts looking towards other women. How is it possible?
मुझे ये बात समझ नहीं आती.
Yeah, I've heard many women. That's why I took it off, so that if he wants to look at somebody, look at me.
नहीं मतलब घर में वो क्या तुम्हें नहीं देख रहा?
हाँ वही ना. You have access in the house. He has access. That's why I was talking about last week in class. If he does not like the hijab, it's just explaining to him it's only for outdoors. When I'm at home, like bano savro, make up yourself, do what you want, glamorize yourself at home. Yes. And if you are giving him enough importance, enough attention, and glamorizing yourself for him, he will be pleased. What happens is, ma'am, is we at home, we are like in our pajamas and with oil all over our hair and ragged position, and then when we're going out we're all prepared.
Yes.
So we should be that's why I've told my daughter very young, she was 2 years old, she enjoys putting on lipstick, and I tell her lipstick is for home. When you go out, if you have lipstick on, you have to take it off.
Yes.
And she takes it off.
There should be some rules for girls.
And that has to be taught young. You can't take them into the teenager, 15, 16 years old, and say, now you do this.
Yeah, my daughter Hafsa wears, if she wears jeans in college, I've told her that you have to cover your head, or you have to take a scarf. You cannot go to school without your dupatta. That is certain. Baba will kick you. And she knows it.
It has to be very clear.
Yeah, we have to be clear.
And at a very young age.
Yes, and they know it. Papa ne nahi chodna.
At a very young age. So Allah knows what's in the heart. Do you understand that? Who is doing it? Deliberate. Who left Islam deliberately?
Yes.
Just blaming that because the fitna of the people is, I can't get through it, I'm being punished.
Basically, तो हमने इंसानों के फितने से ही बचना है.
हाँ. And
अब देखिए अगर बिलाल को उमैया बिन खल्फ के फितने से बचना था तो वो छोड़ देते. कहते क्या जरूरत है मुझे? I could have my life easy. I'm just like his son. I can enjoy things. वो तो तकलीफ में है इस्लाम को कबूल करना. इसलिए मतलब आपके ऊपर आएंगी प्रॉब्लम. They are not azab. They are problems which you have.
You're gonna have to face, and those are the problems that are gonna give you reward. For getting through, it's about how you get through it. Steadfast, staying steadfast. You will be rewarded for all the pain that you have suffered because of somebody else, and just because of your religion, you will be rewarded because aapne sabr kiya na. What we do is we lash back, we answer back, we get aggressive.
ये पता नहीं क्यों हमने बनाया है. मतलब हम किसी की बात पे सब्र तो नहीं करते. नहीं कर सकते. करते भी नहीं.
We have to answer, and then we have to answer aggressively. Why? That puts off more people from Deen also. Yes. That totally puts off people from religion. Oh, these religious people are always angry.
They are always angry.
Yes, they're always angry and in a mood, and there's always no, if and buts. But it's because that they. Deen ki gehrai, the depth of religion nobody has understood. Superficial, everybody has superficial knowledge.
Yes.
They don't go into the depth. If this is said, then why has it been said?
मतलब हम why को कोशिश नहीं करते.
Why की कोशिश नहीं करते, और फिर they also think that why is not supposed to be questioned. Why is supposed to be asked.
Why?
We are
yes. Why?
So the Quran is full. Yes, alunaka. They ask you, what should we do about this? What is hairs? What is the hilla?
हाँ, ये हम नहीं करते. हमने इसको एक वो
blind
faith बनाया.
Or इसको we consider it like piety, not questioning. That if this rule is here, then why is it here? Well, of course, I should know why it is here. If Allah has commanded me to cover myself and to cover my body, then I should know why. And then when you get to the depth of the ayat, it becomes even more easier. Okay, should we go forward? Okay. وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ, and surely Allah will indeed make known, because Allah already knows, so He will make known allazina, those who amanu, they believed. وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ, and surely He will indeed make known al-munafiqeen, the hypocrites. Allah will make known, because Allah already knows, but this, what will it do? The people who are the righteous and the sincere, the people who have taqwa, they will be identified. And the people who are munafiq, who say that we believe, but as soon as the slightest trial, what do? They back off. They back off. وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, and they said, those who kafaru, they disbelieved, لِلَّذِينَ, to those who amanu, they believed, attabi'u, you all follow, sabilina, our way, وَلْنَحْمِلْ هَتَايَاكُمْ, and we should carry your sins. Now the people of Makkah, when the Muslims were going through the persecution, they were being tortured. What did the polytheists say? The mushrikeen of Makkah, what did they say? They said, come back to our path, follow our path, and you will be saved from all of what you are doing. And any burden that is on your head, any sin that is going to be on your head, we'll take it on ourselves. Even today, many people say, don't worry, that does not happen that way. Because everywhere Allah has given everybody aql, nobody's sin will be given to the other. Apart from if you are backbiting a person, and your good deeds will be given to that person who you've backbited about. So what did they say? Follow our path, وَلْنَحْمِلْ, and we should carry hatayakum, your sins, وَمَا, while not whom, they, bihamilina, at all ones who carry, min hatayahum, of their sins, min shay'in, anything. In other words, Allah is saying, whereas they are not going to be the ones who can carry even the slightest thing from their sin, innahum, indeed they, lakadibun, they are surely liars. In other words, even today when people call you to the wrong path, like as you were saying, if you take the example as the lady that you talked about, that she was telling me, what have you done to yourself? If you follow that and you stop, will she take the burden of your sin? You will take the burden of your own sin. Like if I would have stopped the Quran, would the burden of stopping the Quran be on my husband? It would have been on my own head. Because I have to face the consequences of what I decided. Allah's given you a choice. Struggle to get the class done or leave it.
Yes.
I struggled to a day that it became easy. وَلَيَحْمِلُنَّ, and surely they will indeed carry أَثْقَالَهُمْ, their heavy loads, وَأَثْقَالًا, and heavy loads, مَعَ, with أَثْقَالِهِمْ, their heavy loads, وَلَيُسْأَلُنَّ, and surely they will indeed be asked, يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, on the day of judgment, amma, about what kanu, they used to, yaftarun, they fabricate. Now Allah is saying they will indeed carry the burden. Which burden? And they will carry the burden of their own selves. Now, when suppose these people call you to the wrong side and you turn to the wrong side, that person who has invited you to evil, he will be carrying the burden of you got your sins on your shoulders, but the burden of your sins will also be on that person who has diverted you. Do you understand? Like if you start something wrong, evil, and people start following you, every single person who has followed you, their sins will be collected upon you. And then you will be asked at the day of Qiyamah about what kanu, they used to, yaftarun, about what did they fabricate, what did they do. Like those who are calling them back to idol worship, and the day when everything is going to be turned, they're going to be carrying the weight. Allah's going to ask, what did you make up? These idols that you have fabricated, you had made up, it's a fake lie, without any authority, without any logic, that why are you worshipping a cow, a tree, a statue? These are all lies that people have made. It's like myths, no? وَلَقَدْ, and surely indeed, أَرْسَلْنَا, we sent Nuh, ila, to qawmihi, to his people, فَلَبِثَ, so he remained, فِيهِمْ, among them, 1,000 sana, years, illa, except 50. In other words, how many years? 950, because it's 50 less 1,000 years. Imagine preaching for 950 years. No, it's not just 9 hours or 950 days or 950 weeks. It's 950 years. Could you imagine the amount of opposition and persecution he went through to get? And imagine if he stopped right in the beginning.
Face trials.
You will face trials. And the biggest trial is that his own son did not even abide to him. And he did, because father, he did, intercede for his son when his son was about to drown. And then Allah says that those people who are zalim, they are not saved. So he saw his own son drowning in front of him because of his disobedience. So can you imagine that is such a big trial?
अपने बेटे को डूबता देखना ही trial है.
आपके बेटे को कांटा चुभता देखना बहुत बड़ा trial है. Forget about drowning. I mean, recently they've been, a few drowning cases have happened in the northern areas, and even the thought of it, gives you the creeps. And imagine such a huge flood where there's no land that you could take refuge.
Yes.
Remember when you're drowning in a river or sea, there's a bank, somebody will pull you out with a rope. There's nowhere to be pulled out, and the whole world is full of Aman, yes. فَأَخَذَهُمْ. So it seized them, at-tufan, the flood, وَهُمْ, while they, ظَالِمُونَ, they were the ones who do wrong. So what happened, we all know about how he preached and how people said that we will expel you from stop preaching us, we will expel you from our nation. And then when he was building the ark, people were mocking him that why are you building such a huge ship? There's no water, there's scarcity of water. Like they used to mock him. And the building of the ark was also built by revelation coming from Allah. It is mentioned in the Quran. فَأَنْجَيْنَاهُ, then we saved him, and ashaba and companions, as-safina, of the ship, وَجَعَلْنَاهَا, and we made it, ayatan, a sign, لِلْعَالَمِينَ, for the worlds. Now it is said, there are some reports, that the remains of the ark, of Noah's ark, is in, I think it's Amura, I can't remember, but in Turkey, on a mountain.
Yes, on a mountain.
And although archaeologists, they reject it, but it's a huge shape of an ark. They say it's a natural geological. But if you consider how many years back this occurred, it will become a natural part of the geology.
Yes, obviously. It will become part
of that rock with so much time. Years back, it would be a part of the natural landscape by now. By that time, the shape of the ark, it looks visible. But it's not just that as a sign, because Allah is saying we made this a sign for the alameen, right? What is the sign? It's about doesn't matter about how long it takes, because remember the Muslims at this time are going through persecution. It may go on for ages. So imagine, they stayed in Makkah for 13 years. Some after 5 years migrated to Abyssinia, were saved from persecution. But until they went to, Medina, they were going through that. And so why do you think this is mentioned in 950? They must probably also thought that in 950 years? That's a long age to live. बहुत lengthy हो जाता है.
उसको अगर वो 13 साल में तो शायद उसे 23 साल लग रहे. Because the people were going under such bad condition at that time.
This was to console them. That don't look at how long and how difficult it's going to be. Look at the outcome. The outcome of it is what is.
आपको पहले नूह की example भी आगे.
Ibrahim, and Ibrahim is when qala, whenever Ibrahim, whenever is mentioned about a person, it means remember when. Ibrahim, qala, he said, liqawmihi, to his people, a'budu, worship Allah, wattaquhu, and you adopt taqwa of him, or be conscious of him, safeguard yourselves from him. Now taqwa, remember when Ibrahim said to his qawm, now this was a long process when he finally said it. Remember, he's growing up in a nation that worships idols. Then he observed the sun, the moon and the stars and tried to soul search and realized that this is nothing worthy of worship. He asked Allah to guide him. When he finally realized that guidance, when he finally got the guidance from Allah, it is that time, after a lot of soul searching, what we do wrong is that we haven't fixed ourselves. We haven't found Allah, our own selves. But we'll start preaching to the fact that we'll, start humiliating the other person. Now after such a long time, Hazrat Ibrahim says to his nation, when he is that strong enough, that worship Allah. In other words, your servitude should only be for Allah. There are two types of worship. One thing is that we are slave to Allah because of our creation. The sun, the moon, the stars, rivers, oceans, they are all slaves to Allah. We are all slaves to Allah because, the blood that is running in our veins, can we stop it? No, that is where we become a slave to Allah. We can't, we have no control. We are totally submissive to Allah there, for the heartbeat, for our lungs to work. And a minor mistake in your, in your system can bring you to a critical position. Just say, like my mother-in-law, when I didn't actually know that she inhaled her vomit. But in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock, when her sputum came like stained yellow, and then I questioned my husband. I go, "Are you sure she didn't inhale her vomit? Because if she did, the aspiration pneumonia is very life-threatening." Like she was so normal, and like after that for 12 hours, the breathing, she could hardly breathe. Just a positional movement would, So could you understand, like, the things that we have control on, imagine if they were not working properly. This is that Allah has provided us. That is the abd that we can never deny. Even an atheist, he can't stop his heart from beating, can he? Until he gets a lethal injection. So, the sun, the moon and the stars and everything in the solar system, they are all serving Allah because they have no other choice. But then there's ibadah in which you show it to Allah. This is what we opt to do. Do you understand? That is unconditional. You can't do it. There's no way out. In your eyes working, the blood flowing, everything in the universe going systematically. That is unconditional. There is no condition there. You have everything has to work perfectly. But the ubudiyat of our own will, whether we worship Allah, submit ourselves, whether we are obedient to Him, whether we want to fast for Him, whether we want to follow His path, that is active ibadah basically.
Which is taqwa.
Which is taqwa. And basically taqwa, yes. And then he's saying, wattaquhu, be Allah conscious. Taqwa is such a beautiful word. Usually
taqwa
comes...
has so many meanings to it.
People usually take it as fear Allah, fear Allah. No, it's not just fear Allah.
No, it's not that.
It's loving Allah so much that what fear comes into you, that you never want to displease Him. You love Him so much. The love of Allah is so strong in your heart that you never want to go against His will. That is the thing, that is the driving force that is going to keep you on line.
Is it fear?
Fear. Not fear. It's loving. It's this feeling that you love Him so much that you don't want to upset Him.
It's basically your connection.
Connection bhi hai. Being conscious of Him all the time. Now when my mother-in-law was sick, consciousness of Allah, like I'll give an example. I'm sitting there, nobody's around me. I'm watching her in ITC, and I'm sitting there, tasbih bhi kar rahi hu, and I'm thinking, Allah, I hope I did nothing wrong. That is Allah consciousness. And when you sit and you think, I hope I didn't, sometimes I hope it didn't happen because of my negligence. This is, I question myself. I sat there crying and questioning myself so many times. Was it because of, well, I hope I did. And if I have done something wrong, if I have been, not attending her as much as I used to because papers. Although I check all of my papers in front of her, and whenever I used to check the papers, she used to say to me every single time. She says to me, "If anybody's failing, give them one extra number." I'm saying, "Gee," and I go, "Nobody's failing." And then she goes, "Okay." One day she goes, "Show me your paper," and I showed her a paper, and she goes, "Oh my God, you do so strict checking." And then I told my students, I go, "Dado, without even seeing you, she intercedes for you. She's doing your safarish, that unko number de do." And then my students asked, "Did you listen to her?" I go, "No, I did not listen to her. Do you think I would?" So she's like, I always sit with her and check her papers, and she knows she's going to come, she's going to be away. That's why, when I was rejoining my job, they wanted me to come back permanent. I said, no, I can't come back permanent. For me, my mother-in-law being dependent on me and being my responsibility is very important. I could not go from 7 to 3 and leave her for that amount of the day by herself. So I different times of periods, and then so that although I have a permanent carer, but I'm not going to leave her on that, carers on her disposal. So that's why I have different alternate times, and nobody knows the time I'm going to get home. So even I remember telling to people who negotiate any permanent, I go, no, I go, if it's not visiting, I'm not coming at all. Because I have a responsibility. And that is a very, it's a very important responsibility.
Responsibility when you fear Allah, not fear Allah, you have this connection with Allah that you are answerable for her.
Of course.
It is a connection. Basically, taqwa jo hai, connection.
And people sometimes say, isn't it difficult looking after your mother-in-law? Whenever I look after her, I think that is me in 20 to 30 years. That is me. That is who I am going to be. So like when you think that, of course she's my papa also. Like people, I see, they would ask me, is she your mother? And I would say she's my papa now. I wouldn't even use the word saas.
सास वैसे बड़ा अजीब हो
हाँ हालांकि बाकी लोग फिर बाद में इंटरप्रेट करते हैं कि सास है, and also like she's my papa first. And plus when my father-in-law passed away, I vowed to myself that papa or saas ki to वैसे रिश्ते बड़े बदनाम है ना, तो I will keep her safe because she's the amanat of my father-in-law, because he loved her so much. Every single day of his last days of his life, he kept on saying, माँ दा ध्यान रखियो, take care of your mother, take care, सुनो माँ दा ध्यान. इतने concerned थे ना, mashallah. Now like 3 years have passed that my father-in-law has passed away, and mashallah, she's so good, she's well, but we were scared this time. So taqwa is like if anything, it could be happiness also coming your way. Even at the happiness, think, okay, Allah, I hope I'm not boasting. Yes. I hope I'm not too happy.
Yes.
Compose myself. That is taqwa. Thinking about Allah, what is this? How should the consciousness, your brain consistently thinking and processing. Fear. When we saw fear and it's like a communication. When you're sitting and I see all you can hear is beeps, and that connection that I had Allah at that time during this phase, soul searching and contemplating and the link, because you're asking Allah, please don't let anything happen to her, na? That, oh you all, khairun is better for you. What was he saying to his nation? That if you worship Allah only and you adopt taqwa, that will be better for you. In kuntum, if you all truly ta'lamun, if you all know. It's about knowing. Once you know, it's about knowledge. When you consciousness, when you get that consciousness, it will show in your ibadah. And ibadah is not only just namaz, roza. Ibadah is your servitude, even serving. I remember Ramadan. It was Ramadan in which my cat, she went unconscious. She only delivered one baby. It was Taqrat. It was the 27th of Ramadan. And so we had to send her to Lahore, and she got operated. The rest of the babies died, but she came back. For 3 days, I had to look after that baby kitten. And I'm very prejudiced when it comes to the Taqrat, and I want to pray. That is very important for me. In the last 3 days of the Ramadan, all I did was feed that baby, the cat. And then after 3 days, when Eid, I sat down and I was thinking, ibadat sirf tasbihat ya wo nahi hai. Saving that cat, that kitten that was all on my shoulders, like that is ye bhi ibadat hi hai. It depends of how you take it. Itne staunch hona in the taak rate, and then this happening with me, looking after a baby kitten, feeding 2 hours, और मैं उतनी concerned थी उस baby kitten के लिए. So if you understand what taqwa is, makes ibadat more easier. Even if it's serving Allah, serving humanity, worshipping, whatever it becomes easier when you have the knowledge. Innama, indeed, ta'buduna, you all worship min dunillahi, other than Allah, awthana, idols, wa takhluqu. So first, दी तो नहीं है पहले जक्सा दिया हाँ जो ब्लड प्रेशर वाली है 100 बस ठीक है वो दे दो ताबुदून Ta'buduna, you all worship min dunillahi besides Allah, awthanan, idols. Wa takhluquna, and you all create ifkan, a lie. Inna, indeed, allazina, those who ta'buduna, you all worship min dunillahi besides Allah, la yamlikuna, not they own lakum, for you all, rizqan, any provision. Now, those that you worship other than Allah, Othana is something that you created and then you believe that it has some divine powers. It's a creation. Othana is from Wathan. Wathan is a created statue or idol, or it could be a tree, or it could be the moon or the sun, something that you in your mind, you have created in your mind that you believe has some sort of divine powers. Okay? For example, even today you will see many people going to a grave and then considering that going to this grave is very important, that I will be blessed with, a child. I'm childless and I will be blessed with a child. That is also awesome. Othan, okay? Othana wa takhluquna ifkan, and you all create a lie. If you're going to a saint's grave, if you're going to an idol created by a statue, if you consider Jesus as having some sort of divine powers, then that is all a lie. That's something with no logic. Inna, indeed, allazina, those whom ta'buduna, you all worship, min dunillahi, besides Allah, la yamlikuna, do they own, lakum, for you all, rizqan, any provisions. In other words, they cannot give you anything. No child, no ilm, no sustenance, even, angels. It's Mikael, it's common that Mikael is the one who sends the sustenance. Does that mean we're supposed to worship Mikael? No. He's just the transporter. Like the wholesaler, the truck, and then you're the person who's taking it. Your rizq is coming from Allah. Mikael is just the transporter. And you are the one who's going to get it. Other than Allah, no one can provide you sustenance. Whether sustenance could be anything.
Sustenance can be after sukoon.
Yeah, sustenance could be your sukoon. Yes.
Even
Barakat is also your sustenance. Your ilm is your sustenance. Yes. And then of course the provisions that Allah has given you. That is also comes into your sustenance. Any good that comes your way. So they have no the ownership on your sustenance or your provisions. فَابْتَغُوا, so you all seek in dillahi, from Allah, rizq, the provision, your sustenance. وَعْبُدُوهُ, and you all worship Him. وَاشْكُرُوا, and you all show gratitude. lahu, to Him. إِلَيْهِ, to Him. تُرْجَعُونَ, you all will be returned. Now, we do seek provision. आज लड़कियां नहीं ना हैं. فَابْتَغُوا إِنْدَ اللَّهِ رِزْقًا, seek your sustenance from Allah. ठीक है? जब एग्जाम्स होती हैं, girls, MD CAT का exam, they will vow to pray 100 nafal just to get there. So we do, but we are conditional in which way we want to pray. You will see people, suppose they want to get married to a certain person, you will see them even offering tahajjud just to get what they want. Yes, we use this begging for sustenance from Allah in the wrong way. It is something that should be done throughout your life. Your health for today should be, that's why in the du'as, have you seen it in the du'as? Allah, the Prophet always used to ask for health, for not being lazy, for being strong, not being scared.
From being protected from all the sides.
Oh yeah, from all sides, from Satan.
Yes.
So many things to avoid of the traits of any munafiq.
Yes.
From a bad heart, from a bad mind, from bad thoughts.
Yes.
This is all sustenance. So you're supposed to pray for it throughout your life. Not when it's our exam time, it's MD CAT time, it's my NIT, and now I'm gonna vow so that I can pass. This is how we use Allah, you know, for our convenience.
जैसे हफ्सा से केमिस्ट्री के पेपर में नमाज पढ़ता है
अल्लाह
क्या हो गया
अल्लाह खैर
केमिस्ट्री का पेपर नमाज पढ़ने शुरू
कर दी वो ऐसा
this
is ये human nature ऐसे
हमारा नेचर है this is our
nature. Whereas Allah says nothing, nobody can, and in regular days we're gaining everything, sustenance, thoughts, everything from everywhere else.
यही तो हमारी थर्ड आई यही तो बंद है जो हम सोचते ही नहीं है हम कह रहे हैं अच्छा चल रहा है अल्लाह ने हमें we are the chosen one
हाँ
पता नहीं सूरह यासीन में सूरह काफ में कि वो बंदा दाखिल होता है अपने बाप में और कहता है कि
हाँ सूरह कैफ में हाँ
कि मुझे नहीं लगता कि क़यामत आएगी और अगर आएगी भी तो मुझे अल्लाह अच्छी जगह पे पहुंचाएगा ये बिल्कुल एग्जैक्टली दिस इज अस अगर क़यामत आएगी भी तो मैं अल्लाह अच्छी जगह पहुंचाएगा क्योंकि यहाँ भी अल्लाह ने
that's why we go to the extended we cross limits just because of this thought that we are the chosen ones, we'll be saved.
हाँ we will अच्छा नमाज पढ़ ली मैं अपने केमिस्ट्री के पेपर से निकल जाऊंगा
हाँ many people think हाँ हम जल के चल जाएंगे the thought of it. Now I usually ask my students, I go, if our classroom starts burning in the corner, short circuiting, what are you going to do? What are you going to say? No, let's burn a bit and then we'll go out.
Yes.
When you're not going to do it in this life, and that our fire is 70 times more hotter than the fire that we see on earth.
50 था मुझे लगा गाड़ी में मुझे लगा मेरा चेहरा जल गया मेरा भाई कहता मैंने कार बड़ी कर दी मेरा चेहरा जल गया कहता है मुझे जो हेल फायर में से गुजरना
हाँ yeah completely. You know, people usually ask me like, don't you feel hot in your body? It's so hot. I go, this heat can be, sustained. If it's, I won't be able to sustain the heat of the hereafter, right? Okay. In the فَابْتَغُوا إِنْ دَ اللَّهِ رِزْقًا وَاعْبُدُوهُ, and you worship Him. When you seek rizq from Him, then you'll also worship Him. You will serve Him. You will, consciously serve Him. Washkuru, and all show gratitude. Once you get your sustenance, and your worship should be a form of showing gratitude. You should be grateful. Because if it's just a salah that's going up and down, up and down, up and down, and there's no gratitude and there's no remembrance of Allah, then what is that salah? Just a fast forward motion type of an exercise?
Yes, it's an exercise.
Washkuru, you should be grateful. The biggest problem of today's generation is ungratefulness. I don't know, I call it Instagram problems.
हर चीज फास्ट है ना
because I don't have this, I want to do this. I feel like this, I feel like this. I am bored. I remember when we were young, we were never bored.
We were never bored. मुझे कहता टीवी नहीं है हमारे घर में टीवी नहीं बोर्ड और लैपटॉप भी बहनें ले गई हैं और सारा कुछ तो मैं क्या करूँ मैं बोर हो गई अब मुझे बाहर भी नहीं जाने देती मैं क्या करूँ मैं तो बुक पढ़ लूँ वो मैंने पढ़ ली मैं क्या करूँ हाँ मुझे कहते मैं क्या करूँ मैं बोर हूँ मैं तो बॉल से खेलूँ
मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को अक्सर चैलेंज करती हूँ because our childhood I go I can climb a tree I can climb up a wall and I challenge my students can you climb up a tree and they're so like climb up a tree ma'am are you mad are you mad we would fall down not even trying when we were young we never even thought that we could fall down we just wanted to do something and get it done we could climb over a wall and I ask my students in class I go can you climb over a wall I go okay go home try and climb a tree enjoy these things in life you know the phone they have become couch potatoes their next they've got emotional psychological problems are coming just because of the social media because they see things ban ho gaya even in Norway Netherlands
to stop it somewhere.
You have to. And imagine if a Muslim country would have stopped it first.
No.
What would have we been called? Fanatics,
yes.
See the hypocrisy. That we would have been called fanatics and they're fascists. They don't hear that them used.
कल मैंने देखा इंडोनेशिया में कोई एडल्ट्री के ऊपर ना किसी को लैश कर तो वो रूट इंडिया में भी आ रहा है रूट अमेरिका में भी आ रहा है कि ये जी बड़ी इनह्यूमन किस्म की है ना वो सजाएं जब आपको पता है ये कोड ऑफ कॉन्डक्ट है फिर आप क्यों करते हैं और ये ऐसे इनह्यूमन है
is that more inhuman or what the Israeli army is doing with Gaza in the jails when they are using sexual violence with animals so what is more vile I mean I can't even listen to it forget about
पहले मैंने कहा मैं देखती हूँ कि what is it
Lashing is something that has been happening for generations. What the Israelis are doing with the animals, I've never heard it in any book. It's outrageous what they are doing.
Israelis have got these ideas. Where these ideas come to them?
I know.
Nobody's
a human can.
Even Hitler didn't do such things.
Something like that. It's so right.
Even ये तो हमें घोटालाओं में भी नहीं
हाँ नहीं हो. Because they actually consider themselves chosen ones.
Yes.
And they say that if we can do whatever with the non-Israeli and we won't be questioned on the day of Qiyamah. So that is where,
कितनी बात सही लगती है, कितनी आपको समझ आती है कि मतलब वो कहते हैं कि हम तो जल के चले जाएंगे, कोई बात नहीं, हमें थोड़ा सा
वो तो कहते हैं उन्हें जाना ही नहीं है. और एक अकीदा ये है, they say that ayyam al-ma'dudat, we're only going to go for a couple of days, 40 days. They believe that they're only going to go to hellfire for 40 days because 40 days they worship the cow.
Yes.
That's the reason why. Yes. Chale, let's complete this. Ilayhi, to him turja'un, you all will be returned. So these idols that these awthan that you worship, they're of no benefit. You're supposed to seek rizq from Allah. You're supposed to worship Him. You're supposed to be grateful to Him. Why? Because you're going to turn back to Him. You're going to be returned to Him.
इंसाना जो है ये हमारे आइडल्स भी तो है ना. जैसे हम जैसे स्कूल में कहते हैं कि ये बंदा इसकी वजह से मुझे जॉब मिली है, ये है, ये मुझे मतलब इफ आई गो उसको मैं सच हूँ, जो भी है उसकी मैं वो करूँ तो सकता है मेरी जॉब फ्लरिश हो जाए.
जी, we have our own type. We have the idol can be anything. Remember, the idol can be anything. It can be any person also. وَإِنْ and if تُكَذِّبُوا, you all belie. فَقَدْ then indeed كَذَّبَ أُمَمٌ nations belied min qablikum, before you all. Now the Makkans are being told, and for all of us, that even if you do belie, then remember many nations before, many generations before you all have denied again and again. وَمَا عَلَى and not ala upon a rasuli, the messenger, illa is except al-balagh, the conveying, al-mubin, the clear, the one that clarifies. Now what is the work of the Prophet? Like, if you don't want to believe, don't believe, because many people before you did not believe. The work of the messenger, the work of the preacher is to convey the message clearly. Ma'am, there are many classes that you've gone through. Did you find anything that was not clear?
No.
Because it's called Balagh al-Mubin, convey clearly. Is there any verse that you went through that was ambiguous or that you found difficult in understanding? It's a Balagh al-Mubin, something that can clearly be conveyed.
और इसका ये भी है ना कि आपको एक चीज से दूसरी चीज समझ आनी शुरू हो जाती है. एक तकवा है, तकवे से आपको और बहुत सी चीजें, मतलब तकवा अभी हमने डिस्कस किया, leads to more things. तकवा सिर्फ consciousness of God नहीं, consciousness of God and everything.
And consciousness of yourself also.
Yes.
First of all, you recognize yourself.
मतलब मैं वही मोमो वाली बात है, मोमो से ये कहती कि I was not mature. I was not conscious about so many things in life. Now I feel कि मैं conscious हो गई उन चीज़ों के बारे में, मैं mature हो गई. और ये maturity शायद 40-45 के बाद.
हाँ, ये आती है, ये तो fact है. 40 is the life where we get mature.
और जब आपको maturity आती है, इसी तरह आपको जब आप पढ़ना शुरू करते हैं तो आपको एक चीज़ से दूसरी चीज़ open होती जाती है. And everything is belonging.
Clear.
और अगर आपको clarity के बाद भी आप नहीं करते,
then there's something in with your own mind. Something's wrong in your own mind. أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا and didn't they consider or see كَيْفَ how يُبْدِيُ اللَّهُ Allah originates al-khalq, the creation, ثُمَّ then يُعِيدُهُ He causes it to return or repeats it. Inna indeed ذَلِكَ that Allah upon Allah yasir is very easy. Don't they see? Because remember they used to negate the concept of resurrection. Allah is saying, don't they see how Allah is the one who originates the khalq, the creation? In other words, there was nothing there, nothing existed, and then He created the universe. He created Adam with no prior Adam. But then from the Adam, how many more did He create? Many, the whole progeny. And then these will all come to die, and then He will recreate them from It is said there will be DNA from your coccyx bone and the body, because even the people, क्या उसको कहते हैं, degeneration जिसको कहते हैं, your body decompose. Sorry, the word was not coming to me. When your body decomposes, the coccyx bone will remain, and it said that rain from the sky will fall down, and the coccyx bone the body will regenerate from that coccyx bone. And see, coccyx bone is your last tailbone of your vertebrae. Okay. How does summa yu'iduhu, then he causes it to return, repeats it. If we take a strawberry पे कितने seeds होते हैं? One strawberry seed, how many strawberries can we so it regenerates ठीक? Inna indeed dhalika, that Allah upon Allah yasir is very easy. This thing to recreate Adam's progeny and then to destroy everything and then bring resurrection for Allah is easy. For us type of people, maybe we find it difficult. Qul siru fil earth. You say travel in the earth. Fanzuru, and remember Arabs used to travel in the earth because they were travelers, traders. Fanzuru kayfa bada'a, he originated al-khalq, the creation, thumma, then Allah yunshu, he produces nasha'ata, the creation, al-akhirah, the later one. In other words, look around the earth, how he creates originally the first creation and then how he recreates it. Even if you look at the barren land, it was created, dies, recreated. You just have to walk around. Now, the different nations, the Ad, like if these people travel around, they'll come across the Ad and the Samud nations. See how Allah gave them a creation and then He destroyed them and then He's going to bring them back. Inna Allah, indeed Allah over kulli, every shay'in thing, qadir, is ever able. Allah is able to do everything or anything. Clear? Any questions? We've already kept it interactive.
Yes.
Okay, for the people online, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.